Hello, everyone. Welcome to This Week in Business. It's me again. We're missing Anthony and Kingsley again, but today I've brought on someone special with me again. We have Helen Melville from Margaret River Consulting. So welcome, Helen. Thanks for joining us.
Thanks for having me, Louise.
So today, guys, we're going to introduce Helen to you. She has recently joined us here at BSW Connect, and I think everyone's going to be very interested in the business that she has. So Helen, tell us about your business. What do you do?
Sure. So my business is Margaret River Consulting. I am a virtual assistant and I support businesses with human resources, online business management and digital marketing. My focus at the moment is on human resources. My background, I've spent 15 years as a HR professional. So that's where I'm trying to, market and get some work in the Southwest.
Yeah, so guys, like me, she's a virtual assistant. We're taking over the world, watch out. But yeah, different skill sets between us all, which is wonderful. And the HR side of things is always an area that, here at BSW Connect, we've kind of had a bit of a gap on, and now we're filling that gap with Helen, which is wonderful. So today, Helen, what are we talking about?
So just a couple of groups that I've been in on Facebook have had people ask a lot of questions about whether people can work while they're on parental leave. So I just thought we could have a quick conversation about that, just to identify what you can and can't do, and it's also a relevant topic for you. So
It is, yes, with me about to go on to maternity leave. For those that don't know, I'm going on to maternity leave in a few weeks, which is very exciting. So you won't get to see my face. Lucky you guys. So Helen, I actually saw a comment in our women's group recently that there was somebody who is on maternity leave, unsure if it was paid or unpaid maternity leave at this point in time, but they were asking about whether they could have, whether there was any work that they could do. So talk to me about that. If it was the paid maternity leave, what is the situation?
Yeah, so if you're on paid maternity leave and that is coming from either your employer or from the government's paid parental leave scheme, the answer is no. You cannot be doing other work and receiving remuneration for it from another source. So companies have, sometimes they will allow, or they have benefits for their employees and they will pay in excess of what the government allows. So you'd have an employer scheme and you'd also have the government scheme. Regardless though, you're still receiving money while on paid parental leave, and the answer is no, you cannot be doing any other work while you are on paid parental leave.
What about if you're a small business owner and you're a sole trader, and I wish Kingsley was here for this discussion as well, but say you're a business owner, a sole trader, so therefore all of the income for your business is on you, and then you apply for government maternity leave. That's sort of a greyish area in my mind, but where do you see that?
Yeah, so under the federal scheme, they allow you to have 10 keep in touch days, which means that you are allowed to either go back into your workplace or as a sole trader, do your books basically. And you are allowed to do that up to 10 days while you are on parental leave. So as a sole trader, you can use those keep in touch days to still be looking after your business.
Wow, so 10 days is not very long across the government's total of, is it 16 weeks? Is that right?
16 or 18 weeks.
Yeah. Something like that. I think there was a change in July last year, so I'm trying to get my head around it.
And depending on what an employer, so you still got employers who provide in excess of that. So you've got some employers who'll have a policy that say that they will provide, 6 to 8 weeks parental leave, and then you're still entitled to the government scheme on top of that as well. So it doesn't take away whether you have an employer paid scheme or whether you're just getting it from the government. You are still entitled to that full amount. So you can, if you've got an employer who values their employees and wants to keep you on board and has a policy that says, hey, we're going to give you extra money, you still get that whole lot. So I know people who receive paid parental leave almost the entire duration of the 12 months that they're on it because of the scheme that their employer has, which is great.
Yeah, when I worked at Suncorp, the scheme, their paid parental scheme was 3 months full pay, 6 months
That's
half,
awesome.
or 6 months half pay, and then you got the government on top. So that was a pretty sweet deal.
Yeah.
But for small business owners, obviously a really different position that you've got those 10 keep in touch days.
Yeah.
So you really want to be careful about, I guess, earning any income.
Mm.
Because obviously now the ATO and Centrelink or services are now joined.
That's right.
So they can see things.
They can, and they do monitor it. When you, they will ask you roughly about now. You'll receive while you're on once you start receiving parental leave, just towards the end of the financial year, you'll get a notification from Centrelink which will say, "Hey, can you come and update your projected earnings for the year?" Because they keep an eye on it. They will know if you have worked, and they will question it with you or with your employer. So you do need to be really, really careful. Use those 10 keep in touch days. That's what they're there for. But just be very, very careful about going over that, because Big Brother, unfortunately, is watching, and you will get found out. So just be careful.
And what about for our small business owners that have employees? What are their options? Do they have to provide an employee scheme?
No. So there's no obligation as a small business to provide a paid company or employer scheme. You do have the government one to fall back on. I guess you've got to have a think about your cash flow, whether you can afford it. But also what's important to your employees. Is it more important for them to have or receive a lower salary and have money put away for them to be receiving money while they're on parental leave? So I guess it's just a conversation perhaps to have with your employees, find out what they value, find out what's important to them, and go from there. But no, it's not compulsory to have an employer paid parental leave scheme.
And does the employer, if you have an employee, does the employer have to pay the parental leave and claim it from the government, or does the government pay it directly? How does that work?
Yeah, so the government has set it up so that the payroll of the employer pays the parental leave. So I think the turnaround or the difference is only a couple of weeks. So yes, it does go through the employer, and the employer is responsible for paying that. Yes.
All right, so that's a message out there to all of the small businesses and medium businesses who might be watching this, that if you do have employees that may fit into that bracket of needing parental leave at some point, that it's important that you understand your obligations and understand your cash flow as well in terms of paying that out, because that could be really detrimental. Like I said, I wish we had Kingsley here to talk a little bit about this, but he's a bit tied up today, so.
Yeah.
Wow. Anything else you'd like to add about paternal leave?
I guess the government has it there for a reason. It's for parents to recoup and to take a break and spend time, with this new arrival into their lives. If you can, take as much time as you possibly can and use that government paid parental leave, because if you return to work before that paid period has finished, the government will stop your payments. So say, for example, you return to work 3 or 4 weeks after you've had, the child has arrived, that's it, your payments stop. So use that time, get that money from the government and spend the time with the new arrival and your family.
Yeah, really good point there. So, guys, this is a really hot topic. Like we said, we've seen it in a lot of groups lately. It has been talked about in our women's group as well a few times lately. So if you have any questions, please reach out to us or reach out to Helen. We're here to support you and help you in any way that we can. And what we'll do, because this is the first time Helen's joined us, we'll put Helen's details in the comments for you, so that if you do want to reach out to her, it's really easy for you to do that. So thank you so much for joining us today, Helen, and we will talk again soon.
No worries. Thanks, Louise.
Thanks.